final 2 games out of EU, $120,000 on the line for that first place spot. We've seen Janice be the almost wire-to-wire leader, and with 2 games remaining, will his 30-point lead currently on the duos world champion Cooler Aqua hold up, or will Lecce and Wolfies be able to put together 2 heroic games in order to catch it? I mean, those are the 4 we're really going to be watching. Tayssir also has an outside chance, but immediately hopping on board over at the Shark with Liquid's Mitro.
And Mitro takes a lot of damage right away, 25 HP. You see, just trying to get the shields off, but Fremont gonna take him down. So Mitro had an amazing run, but is currently getting cut short, as we do see Wolfies get an elimination there on the Wakey, so he's starting to ramp up as well. These eliminations have so much ramifications on everyone as we swap over to Benji versus Moraine here in Retail Row.
And Benji doing his best to try and get as many points as possible. Again, kind of pushing yourself up into that top 50. We'll have another pay bump as well. So every single point we've seen matter. And we've also seen players able to rack off a number of games kind of back-to-back quickly. Benji's fully capable of putting up a 30 and then a 40-point game to kind of get himself up right back into that top 20-ish mix. So we know he's capable of it, but the question is he able to put it together? Because sometimes when he has off days, he's not really able to get it rolling. Right now, able to get a nice cone replacement there, pushing forward into the box, gets the wall as well. Now it's just the ramp in between. This player doing a good job to constantly disengage, but you're only going to be able to run away from Benji for so long.
And that's not someone you want to be running away from. While not having the best performance today, he is still one of the best players in the European region. Heck, I'd say even the world at Fortnite. He is so good as we see a lot of eliminations come through. Moraine continuing to try to hold these builds. Is Benji finally going to get the code there? The pressure now can continue to come. Builds going over into Benji's favor. Moraine trying to hold that angle. You see Benji just carefully piece controlling every little aspect of the site. You see Ennis coming through. Benji not going in just quite yet. This is a push and pull fight back and forth. And you see Benji does hear Moraine make his way over to Old Bill. The shot's going to come through Moraine, trying to make something happen, but Benji going in and he gets eliminated.
Honestly, it looks like he either ran out of bullets there in the SMG or kind of panicked and opted to swap over to the pump when he realized he wasn't breaking through Moraine's shields there. But the big pump coming out from Moraine, ending Benji's run there. Game 5 going down. He'll have one more game to try and pull himself together, but it's effectively going to end any shot of really pushing himself forward up here as we now swing on over to Dirty Ducks. We got Marcus just outside trying to lay an ambush for Lazen, I believe, who's on the other side, the Grizzly player.
We'll see if he's going to be able to do it, though. If the surprise element is there, and it is, Marcus going to be able to get the shot, and he does. 110 to this player. Shots going on through. Marcus going to get another big damage, 79. This player is one-shot Marcus. All he's got to do is get that damage off. RPG shotgun coming on through. Lazen getting caught out. The ambush working. Marcus set it up beautifully, and he got the elimination.
And get another pickup from Marcus there, making sure, again, we've talked about kind of those almost Bugs Bunny-esque moments where you're just waiting around a corner, trying to, like, wait, stalk the prey, get the perfect moment, the 110 into the immediate cone, to then follow it up with the 79 tag. Could have hit him with anything. A pickaxe would have done it there, but uses the RPG to explode the build and then lock right on with that tac shotgun. So good little follow-up there, as now we swing on over. Again, this is the second place player, Cooler Aqua, way out over on the islands, but playing again kind of that fishing-esque strategy, relying heavily on floppers to kind of get himself into the mid and the late game, give him a little more wiggle room to kind of work around the storm and work with his placements, which I think is what's enabled to see him so often on the high ground. I mean, if you go back through the VODs, I'd want to say probably every one of his good games has resulted from him having either 6th or 7th ground high ground control, which you don't get without setting it up right now, without getting yourself the floppers, without getting yourself enough materials, without getting a rotational path and the stuff you need to contest and take away high ground. Aqua knows how to do this and knows how to set himself up for success. There's a reason that he's in second place right now.
As we swap over to Sweaty Sands, we see big names, Kiriachi, Mongrel, Lunif here, all names that are staple of the European region. We'll see if Mongrel, as we pan in towards him, is going to be able to make a dream run happen. He would need the biggest possible run ever, as he's at 72 points, so not that far away. It is It is doable, but it is probably the hardest thing he will ever have to do in Fortnite as he's looking to go aggressive here on this player above him. The statistical probability of it very, very, very low. But if anybody could do it, I have faith that Mongrel could do it, as we see Noah Riley going down there to himself. We see Mongrel now trying to find an edit onto this player. 2 players above him as well. This could be a fight that he wants to get involved in, but it can quickly turn sour as he's on that ultimate low ground. But someone's actually going to come into his box, and shots coming through. They fell into Mongrel's area, and Lunif going down. This got to be Kiriachi above him, though.
And Mongo desperately needs these eliminations. He knows he needs as many points, and more importantly, he needs the confidence. Another player who kind of really plays on his emotions and needs to get rolling, needs to feel like he's better than the opponents when he's going forward. We've kind of talked about that before, and needing to have the momentum going. When that doesn't happen, you end up kind of in these situations where it's what is effectively game 11 of a 12-game tournament, and you're sitting on still double-digit points. Like, yes, it is. Actually, I don't think it's mathematically possible even for Mongo to win if he got pretty much every single elim going through. Like, yes, it would get him there, but at this point, he's 160 points off of Janice's pace. He's just trying to get as much as he can and kind of get whatever practice in these stack lobbies and climb up into the next kind of tier of placements. As now we check on over with Wolfies. 3rd place right now, 188 points. The young player from the UK was 3rd place in the World Cup duos, or 2nd place, excuse me.
Yes, and I want to point out, Janice did go down. He has been eliminated from this game, so number 1 out. This is Aqua. This is Wolfie's chance. We saw this in that very first game. Janice went down early. He was not able to make any more points towards it. Did not get any placement this game. I don't believe he picked up any eliminations as well. So this game, a 0-point game here for him. Aqua and Wolfies have free reign over this game. If they can make it to endgame and they can get those upper echelon of placement points where all those elimination points come in as well, this is their game to run. But Wolfies being aggressive on here all of a sudden loses a lot of HP. Someone was out waiting in the woods for him. Shots coming through. Wall going to be lost. Wolfies with a nice side jump there. Does maintain high ground here. Able to grab it back from the opponent, but the continued pressure from them is going to cause him not to be able to heal. As you see the big pot in the inventory, he really wants this. But both players boxing on up now. Going to give him that little bit of reprieve that he needs. And you see him. He knows what's on the line. He knows what's at stake. Instantly launch pads away.
Yeah, he's like, get me out of here. A very intelligent decision coming out from Wolfies, particularly because he knows that player's going to want to follow him, has the ability to beam him completely out of the sky, but he's also over at Slurpy Swamps, which means that the player, as we see now, does go north and away from him. The loss of kind of that white HP isn't a huge bonus, does have a medkit down there, but can also just hang out in the swamp. So a really good play from him there. And the key thing you talked about, or you called it when we kind of looked over at that retail fight right away, as Lecce picks up another elim onto Noka. So now that Janice has gone down, this has only happened in 2 of the other games, right? There have only been 2 opportunities in this entire, or three opportunities, excuse me, in the entire tournament where Janice hasn't placed top 15. So him going down here is massive for the 4 players who are kind of behind him and in a very realistic striking range to get and potentially pass him not only this game, but then to put the pressure on him in the next game. And all of a sudden, when you've gone from being top 15 every single game over and over, in a game where you only really need like maybe an elimination and a top 50 to kind of secure yourself the number 1 spot, you're one of the first 5 players to go down. Janice has to kind of be a little bit nervous right now. There's a lot on the line here. He's kind of led wire to wire the entire time, and we're going to see a lot of players with an opportunity to climb up that leaderboard. Anas being one who's just within that striking distance, currently sitting at 144 points. He was 8th place going in here, and you also see him using that new mechanic of throwing consumables into the zone to bring everything he wants with him, not taking too much excess damage, and he'll be able to bring those floppers rather than having to consume them. So a nice little advancement there, using the Chapter 2 tech as Mr. Savage will now rotate on across the gorge, and a number of players who kind of right around that 10 to 15th mark, all kind of stacked on top of each other here between Thomas and Mr. Savage and Mitro.
A very congested area. Going to look to get a little less congested there as Thomas, who hands down is one of the best snipers in the European region, not able to connect on that, has hit a couple. You saw one last cast there with that beautiful angle that he found, and he's looking for more angles here. He's looking to really get these opportunities, because if he's got that heavy sniper, he doesn't have an AR, he doesn't have an SMG. That's his long range. He's looking for that. He's got 55 opportunities to try to make something happen with that heavy sniper. And he needs every elimination because he was down going into this game. He was down that huge point threshold. So Thomas did have an amazing run, but it was a little too late.
Yeah, again, we're kind of talking about these are the players who are like just outside the contending range. Where like, yes, 2 back-to-back 50-point games will catch them up to Janice. So it's not necessarily in the realm of possibility unless you're really able to push forward and kind of get multiple streaks of eliminations in the late game. But with that being said, the heavy sniper, if there is a weapon to ever get you back in a game like that, it's the heavy sniper. If there's a player you want using it, as you talked about, it's Thomas HD. I think Benji put out a tweet recently where it's like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if you had aimbot on your sniper with the amount you hit. Was able to play so incredibly well in the Cash Cup over there. But hopping on over here, Lecce, one of the key contenders right now, was in 4th place going into the game, looking to take some aggressive fights. Already cleaned up 1 elimination here, but a little bit on the back foot, sitting at 136 effective HP. Does sound like he's going against an epic pump as well, which can be absolutely terrifying here. You can see him making sure he's topping off in a mini to try and get up to that 150, but still needs to be very careful about this fight. If he's unable to clean it up here, it's going to put him that much farther off the pace. And this player is playing very aggressively right now, and if shots come in from the side.
When the harpoon usage as well, Lecce's not getting a chance to pop these. He finally does stick it as a shotgun shot going to come through. A lot of damage. The AR follow-up as well. Snappy got aggressed upon at the worst time. He was trying to get aggressive, and Lecce said, you know what? No, I'm not taking this fight any longer. I want to eliminate you, and that's what he does. He made on a moment's notice a very smart and good decision, and like Sundown mentioned earlier, that new mechanic being used very, very well here for Lecce.
Yeah, making sure he's hucking those floppers ahead, knows that, like, hey, I can just throw one of these over the zone, make sure I get the health back up. As we hop on over here with Andelex's player who's in 6th coming into this. Again, just a little bit on kind of that outside pace, looking in more fighting for the 2nd and 3rd rung here, unless he can string together a really impressive performance. But he does have a decent kit right now. The one thing you'll note with Andelex is he's not necessarily the most hyper-aggressive player. He's not somebody you'll see who will go for kind of those like big W key games, those big box fighting type fights. He's more looking to kind of get into a spot and exploit positional advantage and rifle. The problem is that makes it really difficult to kind of manufacture eliminations. You're not going to guarantee you're going to get a certain number of engagements. You're only going to guarantee that you're going to get a certain number of rifle shots off, which will sometimes translate into points, but other times you're just going to get shield tags or maybe some white tags on people, as we see right there.
And he's going to need a lot. Again, like we talked about earlier in the pre-show, he is not within that really big. He's 6th place. He's in striking distance. That's still a very, very good game required, as we see Anas here, another player that was nearby him as well, within striking distance. If Anas is able to make something happen here, able to really turn it around as he's getting some shots aggressed upon him. He does have a good amount of HP as the edits continuing back. He could make this game his as more edits going away from him. The player continuously taking him, more than likely looking for that little ramp flip there as you see it come through, as the RPG coming through, third parties coming through. Anas is stuck in a very sticky situation. He really needs to get out of this if he wants to keep his tournament hopes alive. As you see edits coming through, shots coming through, he's losing a lot of HP, losing a lot of builds as well, down to just the soft match. Everybody's shooting him, and Anas' tournament hopes are on the line, and unfortunately right now he goes down. There's one more game, but that just makes it that much harder.
That's so incredibly tough. You hate when you get chosen by the lobby, particularly right around the water. It causes you to burn that many more mats. They saw the swap away from metal. Honestly, the second you see that happening, it only makes people kind of focus you in harder, knowing you're running low on resources. Thomas up there pulling a little Zate Classic, making everyone take the L. Styler taking it right back, but everyone just kind of hanging out right now. You can see 59 players still remaining, about to hit Circle 3, so the real story right now is, where is Aqua? What is he going to be able to do? And can he catch up and close the ground onto Janice? Right now we see Thomas HD trying to put that Brutus minigun to work in the close quarters, not really exposing himself from the sides, but needs to be careful because he does have a player now pushing forward, took the wall on the other side, going to opt to go up another level, saying, no, 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 no. I want none of that. I need to survive. I need every single point possible. Again, Thomas with 10th going into this match, so trying to climb up that leaderboard to see where he can contest for.
And with Anas going down, it makes that much easier climb, just a little bit easier for him. As we see Red Rush down there, Mini down there, Aqua, mid of your screen top. He is still alive in this game. So Janice out, like we talked about. Wolfie's still in this game for the time being. Aqua's still in this game for the time being. So many key players in this game. But will they go down? Will the slightest misstep make them drop as eye drop goes down? Thomas HD, though, you see him looking for that sniper shot.
He definitely tries to play around it. It's a big enabling weapon for him, whether he's trying to push through somebody else's wall or just pick somebody else off, opting to hop on in on this focus a little bit, making sure he's securing that extra angle with the wall to his left, and then just using the Brutus minigun. You see, does have 510 bullets, so the only thing that's going to slow him down is kind of that cooldown timer once you hit the max fire rate, but no elimination going to be converted there. Still continuing to just pressure around the lobby as he did pull pretty much most of the zone, as did 90% of the players in the lobby. Check that bottom right-hand corner. Pretty much everyone has already piled in around it, so don't expect a ton of players to be going down here on rotation. And as I say that, a sneaky little push from Thomas HD over the top, down the bottom, and lock it. You can go over to grandmother's house and queue up for the final game after this.
That was such a sneaky play, too. Just knew he was focused on that player as we swap over here to Wolfies, who was in third place here. A lot of damage being put towards that player, but none of it really connecting there. He knew the other player was getting shot, and he does get the elimination, though. Tiago going down, but all of a sudden, Wolfie's stuck between a rock and a hard place, and the hard place is everyone else shooting him in the lobby, and Wolfie's going down. The third place going into this game is down. First and third are down. This is Aqua's game to run with.
Aqua has to capitalize here. You cannot take a chance given to you like this. Like, if you're Aqua and Lecce, who are just right behind these two, you have to desperately find points this game. You have to get to the end game. You have to manufacture some kind of eliminations if you want a chance to be able to contend for that number one spot. Yes, you're already up there in the top 5, but it's about taking advantage of the opportunities you're given and maximizing on it right now. And you have been gifted such a huge one. First and third going down before even the top 50 has occurred. Rotating zone is coming through. Storm Surge isn't going to be too much of a threat. Only 2 players do need to fall, and with only about 6 who are over in the zone on the right-hand side already, we can expect a number to go down as Artur single-handedly takes care of that. A nice little double coming out from him as we're on board here with Andelix currently in 6th place. Another player who could look to rise up the rankings here a little bit, try and push forward and cause a little bit of commotion potentially in the last game.
And you see him prepping that launch pad. That's what he's looking for. He's looking for that clear flight path. You see him press it. Instant short pad in. Going to try to get that little bunny hop there. Actually going to get, not bunny hop, it's going to get stopped there as Mongrel going to go down there to Martine. Andalex not right on the edge of zone is going to be able to look back here and see all of these players coming on in. Very good rotations as we see Flick there in the meantime. We see Mage, Andalex, EMXXR, everybody there. Is Castery going to go down? Big elimination as well. Castery has been doing very well as Blackie going to go down there as well. A lot of big names starting to fall in this lobby as people continuously putting pressure on them as they are on rotation. Aqua is up on high ground right now, and Dillick's looking for that elimination as Lecce goes down as well. That was 4th place going down, so 1st, 3rd, 4th out of this game. This is Aqua's chance to take it and run.
And honestly, if he doesn't, that's probably going to really lock it up here for Janice. Nobody else is going to really super be able to contend for the last game if he's able to secure any amount of points. As we see Andalex now playing a cheeky little gatekeeper role in the full built metal towards the bottom. You can see right now Andalex doing absolutely everything he can to just manufacture some points here up to 174. We talk about kind of how those eliminations in the later game tend to roll together if you're able to get a decent amount of positioning. So Andalex could look to push himself up into the top 5 potentially after this game. You have Thomas HD and Aqua up on height. Those are players who are both in the top 10 coming into this. We talked about what Thomas is able to do with the sniper, but as the zones kind of get closer together, it's less of a pick potential weapon where he really excels with it, and much more of kind of that universal key where you just barge in. But we're now on board here. We talked about it. This was Aqua's game to have an opportunity, but right now he is below Storm Surge, so, oh no, one above Storm Surge, as 38 players will be left in the lobby. 8 need to go down. Thomas does pick up Artur. Aqua currently just hanging out, wants to be able to play safe, knows he needs to wait for an opportunity, but also needs to play for as many placement points as possible. trying to find whatever angle he can, and anybody is able to tag right now. As Storm Surge still not quite going away, Clay.
It's not indeed, as you see 16 above. If this zone closes, he is going to be in an interesting spot because it'll teeter-totter back and forth. He's got to get some initial damage. A shot's going to come through. That's going to be a huge elimination. Actually, it's going to get stolen, and so unfortunately not going to be able to get the 4 points, which at this point is way more valuable than the loot he just grabbed because he is in a fight. He is in a contention for number one. He needs every single point that he can, as we see Frey going down there, Seventor going down, Hardvine going down, big names continuing to fall, but Aqua's still in this game. Is so huge. Savage in this game as well. As Aqua looking for high ground. He thought about it for a moment, realized he didn't have the builds there at all. We'll see if he's deciding to get a little bit aggressive here. Decides to box on up for the time being. Got a player in his box, trying to get involved, trying to get the action happening. But everybody just slipping away from his grasp just a little bit. Got a player in his cone. Is going to try to make an edit here onto him, but the shots did not go through enough. You see 23 players remaining. Aqua may be able to make something happen, but no builds remaining. He's dropping to the low ground, dropping into the zone. He's going to go for a flopper placement. Going to get beamed from above. Aqua goes down.
Honestly, that was the misplay. You'll go back, people of Odd Review, that when everybody goes back and look. The misplay will be Aqua opting not to pick up that second pair of floppers and go for kind of a storm play earlier on. I think kind of dipping into the storm during that predictable time, overexposed himself, but a good pickup from Flick there, as now we hop on over to Andalex, 181 points, trying to climb his way up the leaderboard and get himself into contention here with the top 4 players all going down. Zen Diablo picking up X-Squeezer over there. Right now, Andalex in a pretty good position on the low ground. However, he is hurting on builds down to just 11. And then the big shot in his back is going to hurt him a lot more because he doesn't have any excess shields, no excess white heals. And that's Mr. Savage of 100 Thieves making a push up in there. We do have Thomas HD still hanging around with the Brutus minigun. But again, we talk about it. The weapon becomes less effective in the late game scenarios where everyone's right on top of you. And he gets pushed back. No white heals for him either. And only the 15 wooden mats. This is going to be really difficult for him.
Really difficult indeed, but he's using the Brutus minigun so well. Shooting out high ground from the edge of zone was so smart. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the mats to contest it. You see 5 players remaining, excluding him here. He's going to have to make a play. Drops down coming through. Is going to get the elimination there onto Nate. Teat going down as well. Savage goes down to Queasy. Big names have fallen, and Thomas is reigning supreme among them. And this could be his push. This could be the catapult into first, into third maybe. First is a little bit farther than what he is at now. But this elimination that could come through, these placement points that could come through are so valuable here for Thomas. 4 already on this game. He's running out of space, though. As the zone starts to constrict, he really needs to find something. Player right above him. This could be a drop-down elimination for him. He does have that heavy sniper. He can make it possible. It's going to be King there on the low ground. We do see Queasy start to actually drop down. Queasy has given up high ground. That's going to be so huge. Thomas looking to make something happen here on the low ground. Still shots going through. Edit's not going to connect. He doesn't get up. Nice edit on the backside. Going back in the zone. Trying to shake and bake the player. Is going to get the elimination there. Onto King Boca as shots go through from the high ground here. The players trying to make this happen. Edits coming through, shots coming through. Thomas is going to be right on top of him. He does hit the 100, but he goes down. Queasy takes the victory royale.